being a last speaker has many disadvantages. And one of them is that whatever you want to talk, most of it, maybe in bits and pieces, has been covered by very many people. And therefore, there is a repetition, and one is a little scared of the repetition. Second is when there is a last speaker, the audience is already bored to death. They are just waiting for it to be concluded, and that's the challenge I have. And when Mr. Saxena started in the beginning, he said, we got a lot of time, and let the night come. I was very happy. If I'm the last speaker, I'll be able to carry on. And before I was to move here, he told me, I have to close by 6:10. Okay. Best is always kept to the last, and therefore, SIS. I'll get. This is the one making noise. Initially, when the discussion started, nobody was talking about global ideas and local practices. And I was just wondering at the time, have I come to a wrong session? And I was looking left and right. I hope I am there. But sooner or later, I think the theme did catch on to that. And the whole discussion of mine is on the ideas, because whatever we do, whether in e-governance, education, health, any of the areas, has come out of some idea somewhere picked up from the consultant, picked up from the various conferences like this, and so on and so forth. So if from the ideas we are going to develop e-governance, and the topic was global, how do we adopt them for the local environment? My discussion is going to be around that, and considering a lot of points have already been discussed and talked about. I shall only elaborate those points where I think there is an additional contribution in terms of value. Otherwise, I shall skip those points. Also, if you look at the theme, we are talking about Vision 2020, and therefore it is imperative. Then when today we are talking about 2011 and we are going to 2020, what is going to be the change in environment in terms of demographic? What is going to be the change in the environment in terms of ICT? And the point that I want to make here is that by the time we reach 2020, the younger generation, which is bubbling with ideas, which is bubbling with energies, is going to be almost about 60 to 65% greater than 35 workforce. Whereas on one side, people are talking about when there is such large younger population, how do we look after health? How do we look after education? Simultaneously also, here is a exuberant piece of resources that we have, which can lead us to far greater heights. Here is a small structure which tells you as to what is going to be the status in the next 15 to 20 years. And if you look at it, the CAGR of the Asian countries and India in particular is going to hover around 6%, and therefore will be there. Also important to note is that the working workforce will be somewhere around 920 million, along with more than 60 years senior citizens, around 92 million. This point has been discussed sometime in bits and pieces, but I want to put it all together. This is where the global ideas cannot directly be interfaced with the local conditions. Multilingual, 22 official languages. Multi-religious, multi-ethnic, federal state, so many union territories, all having a different structure in terms of both governance as well as in terms of diversity. We have a multi-tiered democracy. People are talking about if one officer goes, then what happens to the project which was there? So all these problems, along with more than 250,000 all local bodies, which makes the whole situation fairly complex. If you look at the ICT perspective, we understand mobile connections are already second highest in the world. We also have tele-density, which is greater than 100 in urban and almost cross 40 in rural. Mobile penetration, which is for data is more than 48%. And when I'm talking about data services, I also include the SMS along. And broadband penetration is not that much at the moment. It is around, is much lesser than the developed nations at the moment. But what's going to happen in 2020? With 2020, obviously, if we are not the second highest, possibly we shall be the highest by the time 2020. Mobile penetration would have been saturated. Whole India would have been connected, both wired and wire-free, and data speeds will be comparable to anyone in the best in the class. So look at this in terms of e-governance today. What is the current status? I think this has been covered and I shall skip this. But what is important to understand that look at the number of projects within various states at various levels. A lot has been initiated. I think the progress has begun. The infrastructure will be there in place. Now, it is up to us how to utilize this infrastructure. But there are some unanswered paradigms. The role of ICT in the quality of life in a common man, infrastructure and systematic improvement, and the extent of e-governance, though we keep on talking about the glimpses. But fact of the matter is, if you look at and many of the projects, of course they are there on papers. They're also there some success. But have they been executed to the last man in terms of the value addition and meeting its necessity? Possibly we have not arrived there. And there are many reasons. As we go along, we shall discuss and talk about them. Did discuss this, if we can possibly do all this in a structured manner and take the implementation to the last level, we would have achieved the vision of 2020. So what are the gaps? I think the first fundamental gap, and partly covered by many speakers earlier, not now, even in the morning, is I think when we develop policies, when we develop structures, we do not follow a two-way information sharing. Two-way information sharing could be government and the private bodies. Two-way information can be the one who is actually going to get the advantages of whatever we are going to implement. I think the two-way communication. And the second important part, which I believe and I think is important is, though the development is taking place in government sector in many states and so on, there is no common platform. Common platform in terms of operating system, common platform in terms of servers, common platform in terms of network connectivity, common platform in terms of devices. And so what happens is when the development is taken place in one of the states, it becomes non-replicable. And in case we want to, and in case we have to, and obviously there is absolutely no way that we can avoid this, in case we want a faster progress across the nation, it is imperative the structures be defined centrally, implementation locally. There are also, if you look at the society, even today and in 2020, it still will be divided in two parts. The one who are looking for still food, employment and shelter, the basic necessities that we are talking about. Then there are other ones who are actually looking at right to information, utility payment portal, digitized land record. So there is a society which is well versed with technology, which is also comparably richer. If you look at a common man who is looking at those facilities for food, employment, shelter, he doesn't even think about the right to information, digitized land records. In fact, he doesn't have a land. So where is the question of looking for a land record? So I think we need to address as a government these two things without mixing them up as separate, and it's not necessary that ICT may be a solution to the last man when we are looking food, employment and shelter. We should be very clear as to which are the areas where the ICT is going to be part of the last delivery. But here the question is now, how do we look at the whole framework of idea management and we said two-way communication, the ideas and the inputs coming from the common man? What I would like to point out here, there has to be, when there is a two-way communication, an idea management framework. I think all of you are well versed with the business processes and obviously, of idea will go through idea generation, idea evaluation, implementation, monitoring, and widespread integration, which may be within the state or across many states. This framework not only needs to come up right from the top nationally, but needs to get integrated right into the every fabric of society to the end. What I have done is for each one of this, I have given the current status and the desired status in terms of idea generation, idea evaluation, implementation and monitoring, and widespread integration. And if I go along in each one of them, it will take a little bit of time. But let me give you a gist of this. There is a large, big society of young people with great ideas. Have we provided as a government, a communication media, that these ideas can be taken up from the bottoms up to the top up? And every idea goes through a structured process of evaluation, synthesis, leading it to either rejection or acceptance. And if accepted, how is this idea then taken to implementation? Also important in all that I have said is to make sure that the people who are generating these ideas are continuously being informed, and therefore, in an idea generation or idea management network, we need to incorporate all this. What I will do now is, I think it's been discussed earlier also in many areas, especially when we talk about idea capture, idea implementation, evaluation, and so on. One of the examples people can talk about is the social media. I will not go into the statistics, but what is important here is when you create a Facebook-like or a social media for idea generation, anybody will be able to write anything, but possibly in a structured manner. You don't want that. Therefore, there has to be an authentication process, and what China has done is China has adopted the own people who can log in have the ID. So therefore, person who is generating an idea is identified in terms of authentication. So I think this is a China's example. There are many examples. There is a USA experience, Egypt experience, and so on. But I think there is a case for India to adopt this in terms of a repository of ideas, because the ideas will finally be able to take you there. We may have use the same site, or we develop new sites only for the e-governance. It's something a matter as we go along, we should be able to get maturity. Anyway, the Aadhaar project is already on in terms of the UID, and I think as we go along on the UID project, if we can also integrate that, and we should be able to leverage this methodology for better translation into practices. We need to be, when we create this structure or platform, it needs to be a common open source with the capability of transforming itself in a multilingual basis to the people who require. And it should also be available at kiosks and panchayats so that we connect it to the last man. Today, we are exchanging ideas what e-governance is. And mind you guys, I would like to ask a question to the organizers. Have we got a common man? I think for all such meetings that we have, all such seminars that we organize, there are rural bodies and actually some representatives of them should be part of these meetings. And that will start a two-way exchange. And many of the ideas, actually the thinking that we have now that we are sitting here, we understand, we know what the common man wants. And mind you guys, we may be wrong. And therefore, I think there is a requirement of contribution of these people as we go along. To sum up, by 2020, we'll have 65% population under 35 years of age with a lot of potential. All these guys will be full of ideas, and if we do not systematically capture, synthesize them, and harness these advantages, we should possibly miss. Second thing, although a lot of projects have been rolled out in e-governance area, and we look at all the states, especially Gujarat, we've gone far ahead, but I think There is a lot that seems to be still to be done to make sure there is inclusive growth, and a lot has been discussed on this. Idea generation and overall framework for idea generation is a two-way communication, needs to be incorporated, implemented in letter and spirit, and that is what will take us to the next level. And large-scale social platforms for creating and synthesizing ideas will be extremely essential as we go along. And but not the least, we are talking all this in 2011. We believe, based on whatever information we have and technology understanding we have, that this is what will happen in 2020. And we may be going all wrong, because we also did not know 10 years back what the Facebook will be today. So as we go along, we need to make sure our systems are agile, responsive, and capturing that information so that though we have a line in which we have to go, simultaneously, we should also have the capability to be agile enough to deviate or take a route where the technology and the environment is taking tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Naveen. That was wonderful.